Homelessness 2.0, day 68, I think. I'm sick. This video will be however long it's going to be. It might be COVID, it might not be, who knows. Make grilled cheese sandwich. Ah, shit. I gotta wash this thing. Cooked chicken and bacon yesterday. And here, just towards the end of the evening, I think that was about the time that I started feeling symptoms. It seemed about like any kind of cold or flu for me. Started getting a scratchy throat. Ugh. Ah, come on, hot water, shit. I'm done here. I'm gonna take a shower. I'm gonna get back in bed. I gotta order some food too. Get Instacart to go to Food for Less and buy the groceries that I was considering. But I don't want to go to the store while I'm sick. And although it is more expensive than if I went there myself, I feel like that is the proper way to do things. It's like, my lady friend from France, I say lady friend almost like she's my girlfriend or something. She's not by any stretch. I mean, literally, I've only seen her one time in my life. It was over 10 years ago, but we're still friends, still able to communicate. You know what? I know why she's still my friend. Because most of the people that a little slug coming out of somewhere, a little dime-sized slug. Usually punch those out when you're like doing conduits or something, I think. Anyway, despite the distance, despite the years, like, she still manages to find the time to, reach out to me. Like, a lot of my friends, even in LA, they haven't reached out to me. Like, even when I try, like, I stop talking to people when they stop talking to me. It's just how I work. And, she and I, we hadn't communicated much, but then occasionally she'll reach out. And so we continue to talk. And I mean, it's not like for me with this situation, like, most of the time, I'll probably talk to a person long after they've decided to stop talking to me. Which I'm sure is unhealthy. But, shit, I don't even know what the point I was making was. Like, I don't know, it just seems like most of my life, I'm the one that had to put in the work in order to keep and maintain and make friends. And she comes along and she shows me that, yeah, you can reach out to me. Well, okay, I know what I was saying. One of the reasons why I don't reach out to her much, and it's not to say that I don't want to. In fact, I do want to. But she's a busy person in one respect or another. But also, like, mentioned in previous videos, it's like, I'm actually attracted to her, like, I would want to go further than just friends kind of thing. And I'm sure that, for me, I don't want to be a burden on people. I don't want to insert myself into your life more than you want. Ugh. And when there's unrequited affection, it is a better idea to let that person be the one determining the interaction overall. Which took me a long time to understand. I'll talk to anybody who talks to me, but not everybody's like that. I'll say most people, not all. I'm sure there's some people that I don't want to talk to. That's whatever. But she was at, the previous conversation was me, saying that, like, I didn't want a job because I can't even take care of myself. And she's, inquiring about that. And I'm going to respond. I haven't responded just yet, but, it's like, I'm sick, currently, presently. If you can hear it in my voice, you should be able to anyway. And the amount of coughing and spitting I've been doing so far. Well, I wouldn't go to work today whatsoever. If I had a job, I would not go to work today at all. Some people would be like, why not? Just because you're sick? Yeah, because I'm sick. And so that's the analogy that I would use. It's like when you're sick, it's generally a good idea not to go to work. Because you can infect other people and you're not in your best state of being, if you will. And so it's better to nurse your illness, to take care of it. And then, when you're better, you can go to work. You might think that my analogy is breaking down already. You might be like, no, I don't think I see where you're going. I think you're fucking up. No, see, I'm always sick. That's what a disability is. Just like when you're, sick with the flu or the cold or COVID or pneumonia or cancer or whatever. When you're sick, that takes precedent. And it can debilitate you. It can make it to where you cannot be your best self. And I am regularly sick, disabled. That's why it's called a disability. Disable, not able. It's like people don't understand words. But because I'm high functioning enough, because I can have a conversation with you, because I can be challenging, because I have a good, vocabulary and blah, 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 and all these other fucking things, somehow I'm not disabled. I present to be normal, but I'm still technically disabled. I still have a lot of things I need to work on. And a healthy person who is not daily suffering from the effects of depression, anxiety, ADHD, PTSD, like me, they can do normal everyday stuff. They can behave, or rather, they can exist and do stuff in the everyday life, and not have it affect who they are as a person. There's a difference between going to therapy, because just like going to a regular doctor for a checkup, that's, you know, like if you go to a therapist as if it were basically just basic maintenance, that's one thing. But if you're going to therapy because if you're going to the doctor because you're sick, it's totally different. You're going to the same doctor, but you're going to them for different reasons. And that matters. It really does. It's like maintenance versus. Oh shoot, which one's the third? Sorry, guys. So I can't even think of how I'm supposed to be doing this right now. I screwed it up yesterday too, so that's whatever. Why wash it off when it's delicious, delicious butter? What's the point in washing off the butter? So, like I said previously, like going to work stops me from being able to take care of myself. Just like if I were to go to work right now while I'm sick with whatever is in my face, would stop me from being able to take care of myself. And, in this situation, I'd be infectious, but you can also be infectious whether you think so or not. You can actually be psychologically infectious. You ever heard of a buzzkill? That's what that is. In fact, there has been, it's been a while, so I don't know how accurate this is, but it is my understanding that even obesity can be contagious because of who you hang out with. I don't know if anybody, nobody watches this, but whatever. Maybe when I kill myself, everybody will watch it and they'll be like, oh, how come we didn't see the signs? Well, because you didn't fucking watch the videos. So, if you've ever seen this, if you've ever heard of the social phenomenon some years ago called The Secret, the secret of The Secret that fucking everybody was talking about, and it started with Oprah, was basically pay it forward, be nice. Whatever is positive energy, net's positive energy, blah, 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 karma, etc. So, you have all these people thinking this pseudoscience crap is somehow like this end-all, be-all secret of the world. But we've known this shit forever. You might be saying, wait, you just called it pseudoscience. Because they were harping it as some almost metaphysical thing when we know that, first of all, humans are social animals. We're social creatures. We are animals, by the way, if you didn't know that. No, we didn't evolve from monkeys. We evolved from an ancestor that then effectively branched off. It's like saying we evolved from our brother and sister. No, we didn't evolve from our siblings. We evolved from our parents, if you will. With regards to our environmental pressures, through evolution, we became social creatures. things like smiling weren't so like certain great apes, like chimps, smiling is considered a form of a threat. Not humans. Humans, we utilize smiling as a method. Down maybe a little bit. No, let's just turn it. Smiling is a method of positive communication, not threatening. Generally speaking. But we evolved to be social creatures. And so when you do something social and that's positive, it produces more offspring. Boom. It continues. Well, if whatever we do creates greater social bond, then that's pretty much something that we will continue to do. And you know, the whole like the pseudoscience part of it is like, hey, we're gonna take this actual thing that really happens and then we're gonna add meaning to it. Or we're gonna add some sort of cosmic fucking influence. Because we don't understand it. It's just like when people say everything happens for a reason. No, everything happens because of a reason. It's called causality. Now, some things are, for the most part, random, but not everything. And just because you can't explain it doesn't mean that you get to come up with an explanation to explain it. It doesn't mean that through your explanation, because it feels right, means that that's the explanation. Who was out there touting The Secret, by the way? Oprah and a bunch of other successful people. Coincidentally enough, you didn't really hear anything about people who weren't successful. You didn't hear about anybody who bought The Secret and then read it and then did this stuff and then nothing fucking happened in their life. You didn't hear about those. Why not? Because they didn't do it right? No. Because that's going to be the first thing someone's going to say. Well, you must not be doing something right. Nope. That's confirmation bias fueled by survivorship bias. So you only saw the successful incidents of people using The Secret. But the reality is that not everybody's going to be able to become successful. Just, it doesn't work that way. At least, not in our current system. And I guess it also depends on what your definition of successful is, too. I was bringing that up because it was a roundabout way to say psychological behaviors in general. Behaviors. What do you think behaviors are? Behaviors are manifestations of our mind. The way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way that you interact with people are manifestations of how you are as a person. That's why they talk about power poses and all this other stuff when it comes to psychology and business and then going to job interviews and going to auditions or whatever it is. All of these things are explanations using psychology. A lot of people just don't get that, though. They don't understand that psychology is, and psychology isn't just a thing. It's how you study the mind. It's the study of human of thought yeah, pretty much. There's literal words for it, and I don't remember what they are because my mind's fried. But just like a pathogen like COVID or the cold or the flu can spread from one person to another through certain forms of transmission, social animals, i.e. humans, can also spread behaviors. Now, this is where the whole like nature versus nurture thing, argument came into play some years ago. Where it was like, is it one or is it the other? No, it's both. You can take somebody who is genetically predisposed to be a very outgoing and gregarious person and shut them down and turn them into a meek, asocial, withering pile of nothing. You can do that with just the right amount of abuse. And you can take somebody who is shy, reserved, and very much all to themselves, and not necessarily in a selfish way, or in some more self-righteous way, and turn them into a social butterfly. Or you can reinforce them too. Well, when I am a person who understands the damage that has been done to me to the point where I am effectively useless in society, it makes no sense for me to have a job until I can become useful again. And so I think of that in most aspects of my life, including with regards to friendships or romantic relationships or whatever, work. I feel that I am an infectious disease amongst people. And if I don't, if the symptoms aren't taken care of, and then obviously the causes aren't taken care of, then one has to eradicate it. So me going to work doesn't help with taking care of the causes and or the symptoms. And so I become, yet again, infectious towards others. Because again, we are social creatures, and we can be affected, but infected, if you will, by behaviors. I mean, shit. I witnessed this this thought experiment in person, but not to the same level. So anyway, the thought experiment is, you get a group of monkeys, let's say 20, and you put them into a large habitat. Big enough that, for all intents and purposes, they don't really feel like they're caged, but they're still monkeys, they're still caged, and, they're still not free. And they'll feel it, and they'll still act on it. But if you as a zookeeper are just like the best there ever was, okay? And then at one point you're gonna be like, okay, we gotta test something. I wanna see what'll happen. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put something that monkeys like. Ideally not something that's like perishable, up on top of a tree. All right, it's gonna be kind of like out in the courtyard. And in fact, let's make sure that the tree that thing is out there on has always been there, or at least it's been out there long enough for them to know that that's just part of the environment. And then one day, there's something that they want that's up there. You know, maybe it's fake bananas. Doesn't matter. It's not to say that monkeys only eat bananas, but you know, it's just part of the thing. It's part of the stereotype. Any monkey who ever climbs that tree gets sprayed and knocked down with water. There may only be 2 or 3 who attempt it. Okay. Now, after a few weeks, maybe a couple months, you take out one monkey that actually attempted it and bring in another monkey. You gotta wait until nobody starts climbing the tree again, though. Like, you have to ensure that no monkey has climbed the tree whatsoever to try to get whatever you've put up there, your fake bananas. You take out one of the monkeys that did attempt to climb and get the fake bananas, right? And put in another monkey that's never been in the enclosure whatsoever. Chances are, because monkeys are social animals, that if that new monkey tries to climb up that tree, the other monkeys are going to tell them not to. They're going to prevent them from doing so. Okay, now the experiment really has started. And then, regularly, you start out with the monkeys who tried to climb the tree, and you sprayed them so that they wouldn't get up there. You have effectively replaced them, okay? By this point, let's say there's like 5 of them that attempted, and then after the 5th one, nobody attempted to climb the tree. In fact, most of them probably stopped going towards the tree in the first place. Okay. Then you start to replace all of the rest of the original monkeys. Say this experiment goes on for 2 years, I guess. But the thought is that once you have replaced all of the original monkeys, the new monkeys, none of whom have ever tried to climb it, will not attempt to because of the social pressure around them to not do it. Because there were people who witnessed it in the first place, right? And then, monkeys, who actually, there's monkeys who did it and got punished. There were other monkeys who witnessed it and remembered, and then they passed that information on to the monkeys that didn't even witness the situation in the first place. And then what you've done is you've replaced every one of them to the point where none of the monkeys that are in the enclosure have ever attempted or even seen somebody attempt to climb and get up there and get sprayed with water, but they know, quote unquote, that if you do that, you'll get sprayed with water. That is psychological infection. I saw it happen in jail. Because if you start asking people questions about why things are the way they are, they don't fucking know. They just know that this is how it's done. Why is it that you're separating the blacks from the rest of the community? I don't know, it's just the way it's been done. Why is it that only one guy gets to talk to the guards? Why is it this one person is the person who gets to do it? I don't know. This is how it's done. Why is it that when you are originally brought into jail, and this is in a dorm of about 60 men, why is it that you're assigned to a specific bed, but then you don't actually sleep in that bed? The bed you actually sleep in is in the bed that's associated with your race. So either you sleep with the whites if you're white, you sleep with the blacks if you're black, you sleep with the Latinos if you're Latino, and the Asians kind of get mixed in with the blacks for whatever reason. Why do those things happen? Nobody knows. It's just the way they do it. Because if you stop doing it, you'll be punished. Supposedly. We will continue to segregate despite not knowing why. So who's to say that me, being the depressed and suicidal person, isn't going to cause somebody else to start thinking that way? That's why I tend to not reach out to people, because I know that I am infectious. I'm harmful. But when you reach out to me, at least maybe we can reduce the harm. Possibly. Nah. Have fun with that.